right, folks, another Friday here, May 4, 2018. So the month is not waiting. Hello and many thanks for joining us on this last edition of Journalist Hangout for the week. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, Buhari orders recruitment of 6,000 policemen, even as 133,000 have applied. Obasanjo vows never to endorse Buhari, says he's a failure. And APC members want governors nationwide called to order ahead of congresses. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Jide, welcome.
I agree to you.
We'll talk about where to go after. Yeah. Ishmael Omikbidon is not a party to it. Yes. Neither is Ayo.
What gives you that idea?
Okay. We'll get there. We'll cross the bridge. So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then. In many countries across the world, the police are recruited from the self-same criminal classes they are supposed to checkmate. This is perhaps what they mean when they say, a people deserves the police it gets. It's recruitment time again here in Nigeria, as President Muhammadu Buhari has given the nod to the recruitment of 6,000 constables nationwide. The Police Service Commission, PSC, has, according to it, shortlisted 133,324 applicants as we speak. You get the impression the job had been concluded before the announcement.
It's really...
So if you had a brother who knows the ambition of making policing a career...
see, when you have just 6,000 spots, and you are hearing about 130-something thousand people applying for that.
Shortlisted.
Shortlisted. You tell yourself that, look, this is not the place to go.
I did a little mathematics. It brings us to 166 per state.
Yeah, which is grossly inadequate. The UN recommends that we should have 222 policemen per 100,000 citizens, which means that one policeman per 400 citizens. 22 policemen per 100,000 people. Then, of course, what it means, because we have about 370,000 policemen to 170 million
officers and men.
Yes, every one of them.
Plus women.
You know, for 5 years we didn't make any recruitment to the force, and people had been dying. Policemen had been dying. They kill policemen a lot in this country. Policemen had been dying. Some get retired and others. Some get dismissed, and yet for 5 years we didn't make any effort to recruit. So, what we need now, in the next 5 years, we need 155,000 policemen, which means we must recruit 31,000 policemen each year. Yeah. So the 6,000 that the president has recommended now, if we are to meet the United Nations threshold, is like a drop in the ocean. Sure. We still have a long way to go.
Ishmael, we cannot talk about recruitment and not mention the element of policing in this country. So you talk about the policemen. Do we deserve the police we have at the moment? The answer is yes. But mine is simply this. The rot begins from the recruitment ground.
Yes, yes. I recall that in 2015, shortly after President Buhari came in, there was this National Security Summit that was organized by the Sun newspapers in partnership with the police. I think that was where Buhari announced the recruitment of 10,000 policemen. It will interest you to know that from that 2015, it was only until last year before they were able to conclude the recruitment. And what happened was this. At the level of the Police Service Commission, there were crises between the Service Commission and the Senate Committee. The Senate Committee on Police is headed by Abu Ibrahim, who is from Katsina, a confidant of Mr. President.
Is he a policeman, a retired policeman?
To the best of my knowledge,
Okay, just for the sake of
now,
it.
He was insisting that the recruitment should be based on local government per local government. And some of the senators, especially those who are from the South, they were like, look, if we do this way, you will be shortchanging the South. The South. By far. So there was this back and forth, over that matter. I think it took them over a year.
Bayelsa has only 8 local governments. Kano has 44.
So it took them close to 2 years before they were able to resolve it. But I am amazed by the fact that now they are, because then it took them time before they told us the number of those who applied. Now, within 3 days, except if they are saying that before the president announced
there was a backlog.
Maybe before the president made the announcement publicly in America, he had given the approval before, which we didn't know, because it is not possible. It is not possible for the president to give an order 3 days ago, and by yesterday or today you are telling us that you have shortlisted about 100, except maybe you are carrying over the list of those that had applied from 215.
Ishmael, don't stylishly insult yourself, because I know you know more than that. Again, the police in this country, very good, I'm saying this because I have not done anything to incur their wrath.
And you are the son of a policeman.
Or something like that. But this is not to say we have not had good policemen over time.
I have had.
So why should we have the problem from the recruitment ground?
You see, there is a big issue that we need to resolve. And that is the issue of politicizing stuff. There is something I learned from you elders, the word meritocracy. It's usually difficult in our terrain. For instance, part of the report says that Mr. President declared that the recruitment has to come from 774 local governments in Nigeria. Now, already that posits a problem. Are we sure that the same pedigree or the same qualifications or the same terms upon which they recruit Ishmael in Oyo State is the same one they will use to recruit Mfuntua? Do you understand? So those are that at the initial stage, that begs that question. Fast forward 20 years from now, some of these people who are recruited now would have grown to maybe officers 20, 30 years from now. How will their growth and development in the security delivery service of Nigeria be? So that one already creates that problem. Also, needless to say, many people who have what it takes will not apply because for them, perhaps getting a policeman's job is belittling. Part of the information we have says that Kaduna State has the highest number of applicants, almost 7,000. Lagos has the least 20 million man population. You can imagine how many people are jobless in Lagos. And just 1,000...
The recruitment has nothing to do with joblessness.
Oh, really? So you can have a job in the bank and then resign and go
and join the police.
We are saying the security situation does not say because you have no job, go get recruited.
That is the issue. That's exactly what you are talking about.
Easy, convince me.
Many people who have applied.
Yes,
are they
it's because they can't. There's no other job for them.
For them to do.
And many of them who don't even have a job are saying to themselves, "Over my dead body, with me take on a policeman's job with the image of the police as is, over my dead body." Yes, you are correct. We've had amazing policemen. I've had to call Frank Mba when he was in Lagos. I was at a stop. They stopped me. They behaved very, very courteously. I called him, "Guy, your guys are amazing." Sometime I was going to
then
Asaba.
they watch film.
Sometime ago I was going to Asaba, and they behaved well. I called the same fellow. I said, your guys are amazing. They're doing well. I said, ayo, you don't they tell on that. You know, and all of those things. But then that's not to say that there aren't bad eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Or extremely bad ones at that. Yes, every country I feel for them, sincerely. I have reason, on this job, we have reason to drive in the middle of the night. We see them, and sometimes you are moved to just, out of your own volition, encourage them, give them something. But the ratio of the good to the bad,
and
I don't want to do the calculation.
Jide, pretend what I'm going to say now to you is coming from a little foolish corner of my brain. Does this not highlight the question of a state police? No. In which case, by extension, remove the art of policing from the exclusive list, make it concurrent?
As I've always said.
Am I making sense to you?
Well, yeah, it depends on where you're coming from.
Or depending on the side of the
foolish corner.
You know, as I've always said, I do not believe in state police. I know that state police is inevitable. We'll come to that. But I'm not convinced that this is the time for it. Because I look at Nigerian politicians, I look at even the democracy that we're practicing. It's a winner-takes-all kind of democracy that we're practicing. The governors in the state see themselves as God. God. It's pastors that we call God of men. Oh, these ones, the governors are the real gods of men. Not pastors anymore. Because even that pastor, a governor can bring him to his knees. If they say, oh, we are going to revoke that property, the pastor will come groveling at the feet of the governor. So the governors are the real gods of men. That's my view. Now, when you now put coercive powers in their hands, they are in charge of the police in their states. I
beg your pardon. Policing powers. Policing powers. That qualification is yours.
I've had to put a few things together before I came to use.
Okay, use the word. It's an English word.
Yes. Yeah. Now, these governors, if they are in charge of the police in their states, you remember what happened in the First Republic, you know. So for our people,
I remember
he had not materialized at that time.
Yeah, but at least
I'm sure you must have read. But if you visit,
my father also told me.
If you visit Alhaji Tanko Yakase, yes. He was one of those people that, because at that time we had the Native Authority Police. In Kano, it was that bad. You know, the emir was being used to punish people who were not in the MPC.
Who?
By the government of the day. You know, at that time now, here was the Emir's palace, and then you had the court.
Okay.
The court.
And I hear the police station is nearby somewhere.
And then even the prison close to Emir's palace. You know, that's how it is even today in Kano. The current Emir has pleaded. He pleaded with Jonathan. It was, you know, after he fought Jonathan, and he was not sure Jonathan won't be re-elected. He had to go to Abuja to plead that, please, I want that prison relocated. So it's still, the prison is still close to the palace of the Emir in Kano. So the point that I'm making is that we are not politically mature yet. You know, for state police, there's nothing wrong about it. But I also think that in Lagos, when you look at the way, there's no state police in Lagos, but the RRS is an example of an efficiently run policing unit in a state.
Let me borrow that phrase and sound Ishmael out. Ishmael, history now won't do us any harm. Alozie Ogugbuaja said when he was facing the justice, I think Babalakin, this pepper soup wahala, you know, he said an effective police would thwart any coup situation. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
The issue now is making the police more mobile and more effective.
Yes.
Away from the recruitment we are talking about.
Yes, I believe very strongly that if the police is well equipped, they will perform wonders. And that also takes me to MD, I think was it MD Yusuf's report, you know, about, was it about 5 or 7 years ago. You know, the truth is, yes, the police, as we have it today, they are grossly underfunded. Unfortunately, too, in some state commands, even what is due to them, they don't get it. But having said that, for me, I believe very strongly that if we don't start something now, we are not likely going to improve on it. And that takes me to the issue of state police that we were talking about. For me, I believe very strongly that if we are really interested in tackling the insecurity as we have them today, I think state police is the way to go. I say so because most times, you need the locals to help fight some of this crime. A typical example is the success that was recorded in the fight against Boko Haram in Borno State. The civilian JTF, they played a vital role in whatever success that were recorded in the, because they know some of these people, and once they sight them from afar, they say, hey, stop there. I agree that because of the environment we are, there is this tendency to abuse, but for God's sake, even the federal police is being abused.
The function.
It was in this country that a governor was kidnapped by a federal police in a democracy. So there's nothing that we accuse the state governors of that those at the federal level don't do. But I think what we should be pushing for is the strengthening of our system.
Thank you.
If the system is strengthened, is strong, there's nobody who will come to abuse it.
So otherwise,
it's the issue of strong institutions, which we have advocated on this program so many times. That's the real culprit here. Institutions are in the prison of men's pockets. If we can strengthen the institutions, the police system will be too strong for any chief executive.
Even if it is centrally controlled?
It is immaterial whether it is central or dissipated into the states, so long as the institutions themselves are strong. In our calling as broadcasters, we know the tenets. Oh yes, we know about owner influence that comes to play at some point. But the strength of the individuals around this table has made it difficult, somewhat, for that kind of control. You can't say the same for every media organization. Sometimes I see a headline and I know where it's coming from, based on the ownership. Do you understand? So that if we strengthen the institutions, strengthen the security apparatus, and then another thing, we're talking, part of the things that will strengthen the institutions is the kind of training that they have. How well trained are they? Oh yes, we know. They go outside Nigeria, they win awards and all of that. Awesome, fantastic. These guys that are coming in now, going back there, are we sure that they're going to get the right kind of...
only except that outside of these shores, they are paid in dollars.
Which is the number one motivation.
Which is a weakness of a currency.
Okay.
If it was strong, there wouldn't be such
Did they take it home for us?
No, I think, just as I said earlier, we are all in agreement that state police is inevitable. I said that earlier. But my only concern is that at this time, given the generation of governors that we have and what they do to political opponents, I don't want it to happen in my generation, because I'm not sure that it will not be so thoroughly abused. You can talk about institutions. It is the people who run. Run those institutions that matter.
Ask when did your generation start?
You know now. I'm just scared for these guys. Look, are we not? Will Ismail, for example, have forgotten so soon that in 2016, the Speaker of a state and the majority leader, because they muted the idea of impeaching a governor, they hadn't even reached the point of implementing the plan. They ended up being locked up in the DSS cell in Abuja, and they slept on the bare floor. The way we misuse political power. No, No, there are other examples.
But it's a federal police. But you see,
the way we misuse political power.
Let me police this now. we must go. We must go. But the debate is open. Join the debate. But for me, the police must obey the law even while they are enforcing the law. So the recruiters know what to do. I hope we will agree.
Of course,
that making returns to and all that should end. All right, then, when we return, Obasanjo vows never to endorse Buhari. He says the president is a failure. Stay with us. All right, then. The study of the human mind for students of psychology is more than just a study of mental processes such as perception, cognition, emotion, and personality. It's an applied discipline. Let me take this over. In a peculiarly unpredictable environment, when the big man would rather not bring momentous things to the table, besides hero worship, the signs of surprises and the unpredictable becomes a tonic. Ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday denied ever endorsing President Muhammadu Buhari for a second term in office. He says he's a failure. He says he's a failure.
Yes.
It's a statement.
When I saw that
Perception?
When I saw that story that he had recanted, I said, Jide, I pinched myself. Obasanjo recanted over Buhari. The Obasanjo that I know is extremely vindictive. If he's fighting you, he fights you till death. Do you know how many times Atiku has apologized? Do you know?
They don't invite me.
Do you know how many times? Oh, you read about all those visits. Atiku left his own party, the ACN.
Yeah.
It was something that they were very angry about. He went to meet Obasanjo in his farm. And after, you know, we find pressmen outside. After the Georgia session inside this house, he came out and then began to talk down someone who had come to beg him. He began to dress Atiku down.
Right beside him.
As far as he's concerned, the events of 2003 will remain etched in one corner of his heart. And whatever Atiku does, Obasanjo will simply not forgive and will not forget. So Atiku can beg him from now to the kingdom. I heard that they had another encounter yesterday, Atiku, but I know that he does not change anything. So when the moment he made up his mind that he was going to fight Buhari, I knew that this would be a long battle. So when some mischievous fellows now wrote that, oh, he had recanted, I said, not this man. On my own, I began to make moves to even confirm, so that some of the things that I had said about him in terms of his character, his disposition, I can take back some of what I said. But I'm not going to take back those things that I said because it shows that my reading of Obasanjo remains accurate. Because the Obasanjo media office, affirmed that at no time did he recant, rather than even show mercy to Buhari. Some of the harshest words that they had not used against Buhari, they unleashed.
Brings me, Ishmael, to this big man syndrome vis-a-vis the father figure. Okay, the youths are watching. He just said ex-President Obasanjo has a tendency to be vindictive. This is not the best of times for Nigeria. The father figure syndrome.
Well, unfortunately, those who look up to or those who think should play the father figure role, they have failed us time, with that number. So, I think Obasanjo is not alone. The only thing is that he appears to be what the Yoruba call Abayagbangba. That is
The one with the broad chest.
The broad chest to combat them.
The most daring.
Because what about, the most daring, thank you very much. Because what Obasanjo is saying, he's not saying it alone. He's he's doing it on behalf of a group. A group I refer to as Nigeria's godfathers, those who decide, where to go. But let me say this. I think that Obasanjo is not God, to the best of my knowledge. However, we cannot dismiss its influence in our body politic, because don't forget, whatever effort APC put into the 2015 presidential contest, I believe very strongly, as a person, it's debatable. I believe very strongly that Obasanjo played a vital role. Yes. Because he was the one who demarcated Jonathan in the international community.
Jonathan admitted it.
And even when Buhari first visited him, he told Buhari, he said, look, when you are looking for a position, you carry everybody along, both rogues, thieves, all of them. You don't say because before then, Buhari was of this opinion that if you are a criminal, don't come close to me. If you are a thief, don't come. But Obasanjo said, no, carry all of them together, move with them. Say, but when you now win the election, you now separate
the wheat from the chaff.
From the chaff. That was, what. And don't forget, even the national leader of APC met Obasanjo about 3 or 4 times before they decided on who they were going to support. So, and I think that is why Buhari is measuring his response to the Obasanjo.
We'll come to the response of the presidency. Don't consider this, no pun is intended here. When 2 elephants fight, they say it is the grass that suffers. I have seen it on films. When two big elephants also mate, it's the same grass. Please break it down for me.
Well, you want to talk about the size of the elephant in the first place. The first thing that came to mind, when all this, when Shima began to speak, was to find out. I mean, you are correct in saying that to a large extent, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo, 2-time head of state, speaks, you listen. It may not make sense, but listen. Now, the kind of things that we hear that President Obasanjo, says from time to time, writing letters and all of those things, the question that comes to my mind is, okay, so what happens at the Nigeria Council of State meetings? If the intention, if it's in the interest of Nigeria, that
please underline that.
If it is in the interest of Nigeria that these comments are being made, that you are advising Nigerians not to vote for someone, oh, awesome, we'll listen to you. But what happens when you attend these meetings of the Council of State? You are there, at least former presidents are there. You are a former president.
Heads of state.
And heads of state. You are one of them, twice, both as a military man and as a civilian. So you have it, all together. Other former leaders are there. What do you tell this guy? What do you tell the government? The president is there, the vice president is there, the legislature is represented, the judiciary is represented at that meeting. What do you discuss? Is it that you can't say anything? That's why I would take with a pinch of salt the opinion of anybody, no matter how influential the person is. And it's unfortunate that Nigerians, to a large extent, will not read the lines. They won't even read the lines, much less read between the lines. The only thing many of us are interested in is, what is it that will titillate our ears? What's exciting? He said it. He said, hey, we all know he's a failure. You haven't even found out what he says. What are the intentions? The man wrote a letter. Next day or next week, we find another political movement getting up. Isn't that supposed to add up to something? But people aren't looking at that. Who is speaking? It's Obasanjo that is speaking. We could swing this thing any which way you like.
We desire,
it could be, some people could look at it as a North versus South thing, a Hausa versus Yoruba thing, but no one is looking at that, thankfully, because the impact of what this government is doing or not doing is affecting everybody. But I will put a big question mark on the opinion of any influential person in Nigeria.
Judy, personal now. Nobody says I should not have my personal.
Of course, you're entitled to it.
Yeah, but since I'm moderating, I must stay in the middle. I am saying, as a man who has been to the mountaintop twice, from that vantage position, I just raised something. When we attend this closed-door meeting, is it difficult to face Mr. President or whoever? Okay, this thing you are doing is wrong. Because it's not about washing dirty linens.
In the open.
Yeah, in the open.
Yeah, you see, I've had people say, oh, they denied me access. I wanted to reach out to the president, his aides denied me access. But at that kind of meeting, except that the meeting is not really, it's not constant. The meeting is not constant. But at that kind of meeting, you can actually tell the president something. You know, you can actually advise the president.
Which, forgive me for punctuating, former president, head of state or President Ibrahim Babangida said that he doesn't have to come out in the open to say some things. He has access.
No, they are different people. Even Jonathan, Obasanjo had unfettered access to Jonathan. He could see him anytime. They could bring him in through the Aso Rock back door. Even pressmen would not know that he came to see the president. You know,
he could even
he could see him anytime. He could send the presidential jet to bring him.
But he still wrote letters.
But still wrote letters.
Hold on.
That's what I said. They are different people.
Sorry, Mrs. Ngwoke is here. We can't keep you waiting, madam. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening.
I greet you.
I want to comment on Obasanjo's comment to Buhari. In my own opinion, Obasanjo is on a fault-finding mission, radiation mission. Because the APC has been complaining about the past administration, the PDP years rule, how they are before Nigeria, which Obasanjo is part of this PDP rule. I'm sure he's angry that APC has been sounding the 15 years of PDP rule, which is one of them. So for him to retaliate, this is a way of retaliating by destroying of Buhari's government. If he has done what Buhari is doing, I don't think Nigeria will be like this by this time. Thank you very much.
So it's a question of time.
If he had, don't let it be lost on you.
No, of course, I had her. Obasanjo, I really don't want to attack him as I used to do. I think that my advice to the APC leaders was that they should leave him alone. Don't respond. You know, like when Asiwaju had his bad day, there was no need to abuse him.
Oh, okay.
Because he was already reeling from the fact that the letter that he wrote was not having the kind of impact I wanted. And then you went abusing him.
Yeah.
And, you know, you brought him back to life again. After that, it will begin to abuse. Yeah. They should just focus on what they are doing. Focus on what you are doing. If you work hard for the people will see the result of your hard work. Yes. Stop the killings. Don't wait until a Donald Trump begins to issue threats about the killings in our country. Stop the killings. Get the soldiers to be professional. Go after those who are killing people. Once you sort out the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, people can begin to look in the direction of other achievements that the government is recording. You don't have to, every time Obasanjo talks, you want to respond. I mean, you don't have to. Just leave him alone. If they will listen, honestly, Obasanjo will stop talking about them.
Maybe this is why you are not an advisor on the inside.
Well, that's why I've chosen not to do that kind of work.
You lost the job.
So I won't do that kind of job. If you offer it to me, I will not take it. Because what's the point?
Ishmael, quickly, as we make to bury this one, the presidency has dismissed the ex-president's statement. Allusions to Trump-Buhari meeting, 3 things came out. That the USA would continue to reduce purchase of crude oil from Nigeria, regardless of the visit. Relevant?
Well, it's I don't.
The USA has its own petroleum.
They have its own.
So the
country has its own.
Not our type. Not our type.
Yes. Not our
Ours
type.
is called the.
If the US wanted to adapt what it has to what it needs and not need your own, it would do it. Is it not technology?
Number two, Ayo, that the US would continue to export agricultural products to Nigeria as opposed to the other way around.
You can say it. It's up to me to say yes or no. With kind of arable land that we have and with our push for SMEs and agricultural revolution in Nigeria or whatever in Nigeria, you want to bring your GMOs.
All right, a call is coming in from Bayelsa State. Adewale is the name. I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay, you are on.
I have a comment. I want to make a comment on the issue of the directive issued by President Muhammadu Buhari to the police to recruit 6,000 personnel.
Gentlemen, please don't take us back. I'm sorry you got us just now. You have no comment on the Obasanjo Buhari tiff?
There's a comment, actually.
Go to that. Let's go.
As a matter of fact, Obasanjo as a person needs to, as an elder statesman, all he needs to do is to advise President Muhammadu Buhari on the way forward, not criticizing him. Because at this stage in this country, we don't need criticism. We need advice, reasonable advice from appropriate quarters in order that this man may move forward.
Yeah, Adewale, thank you. Except that no government on the planet can do without a criticism. But we're saying the premise, don't let me know what you told Mr. President. Okay, Jide, let's bury this.
Yes, I think that the president's visit to the U.S. Was a good one. He recorded some success, which nobody can wish away. They've elected now to repatriate about 190 billion naira.
Dollars?
No, naira.
Okay, when you convert.
When converted.
Which is significant. There are many things that you can do with that in our country in terms of infrastructure. Then, of course, the Americans have also agreed that they will continue to do business with us in other areas. Of course, the Tucano jets that we bought won't be the last. He has also promised that he will assist us in the best way possible to defeat terror and improve security in our country. So I don't think, and of course it was during that visit that the president also met Shell exploration officials who also promised fresh investment in Nigeria, totaling $15 billion. So you can't say that visit was a failure. I think. And
Shell, you are talking about gas flaring and all that.
Yeah. So you can't say that visit was a failure.
Yeah, right. Ayo and Ishmael, quickly. Hold on, Ishmael, Ayo. Do you need an Obasanjo endorsement at a time like this?
Buhari or
endorsement for
the
Buhari?
only endorsement that any government needs at any time is what Jide said the other time.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. People endorse you naturally.
Feel what you
it will come naturally.
And for Buhari, there are certain things some of us are still expecting him to do. Yeah. There are some of his aides, his ministers that need to go. We don't know why. Up to now, he has not, shown them.
It's crazy to begin to think of people who to go, and then you talk about soccer. You have a limited number of people you can change.
5 minutes to the end of the game. A change can make a difference. It can make a difference. For example, today, if Buhari wakes up tomorrow morning and announces that he's firing his chief of staff, I tell you,
there will be jubilation.
There will be jubilation in Nigeria, and his rating will go up.
Take me there. All right then. When we come back, we'll look at the issue of the APC. Seems to still be having a little nagging problem here and there. We'll be back. Please stay. All right, finally for the evening, I've heard it said many times that a man would be ready to kill for his interests rather than for his rights. Wisdom in our country was thrown overboard the moment a state governor was made party leader instead of the state chairman and the executive. It becomes a little too late in the day to want to change the trend or reverse it. Members of the ruling APC nationwide are asking state governors to be checkmated ahead of congresses. So who bears the cat?
The question you want to ask, first of all, is how did it all start?
Okay.
That
you made governors the...
My Bible tells me that the anointing flows from the top. And of course, if you remember in the 16 years of
who's anointing
of the PDP, there was a national chairman, but that was not the party leader.
No, but Akinloye weaved a lot of
under NPN.
NPN.
Yes.
Shagari was more interested in governance than politics. Not in this time.
All right.
You remember.
But then at the beginning of the PDP too, when we had Solomon La and co, the party was in charge. It was when Obasanjo started engineering the removal of the national chairman. I think that was when that culture collapsed. However, the thinking was that APC being called progressives will come to help change that tide. Unfortunately, the impunity we are witnessing today in APC appears to be worse than what we witnessed under PDP, because the only election APC had, the only election they have had so far, they call it, is it a delegate election that was said around July or so last year. In fact, the same thing PDP were doing in the past, which we were criticizing, was what, in fact, theirs were worst. Governors sat in government house to write names of people, delegates, when they were supposed to go out there to contest. And as they prepare for their World Congress tomorrow, already reports are already coming in on how these things will go. In Kaduna, for example, the governor's faction, they have declared that Nkuyi and his group are not even members of the party, that Nkuyi is on suspension. Whereas Nkuyi is insisting that the faction he belongs is the authentic faction. Now what it means is that if care is not taken, quote me, we may record some skirmishes in Kaduna. In Zamfara, the governor says, yes, we want to go for election. But as we speak, only those who are in the governor's camp have access to the forms. The other group will pay for forms, but they cannot access the form.
Wow.
This is APC.
Jide, and in Adamawa, the governor there seems to have sobered down.
He has not sobered down.
And maybe that's why I'm prompting you.
Yes, because...
to counter what he said.
I'm not going to counter what he said. To counter what he said is to come openly here and lie. And you know it's not in my character. In Adamawa State, we are seeing the most brazen and the most irresponsible attempt at hijacking the structures of a party in a state. Once the people in the camp different to the governor, the Babame Mongoro faction, that's Yako faction, once they got feelers that the governor would not allow forms to be sold to them, you know what they did? They went to Abuja. They were in Abuja for days. They paid 17,800,000 for 8,000 forms, nomination forms, because
and they were sold?
in all the 21 local governments, they are going to contest positions. People from their camp, they are going to contest positions. And the big politicians, the biggest politicians in Adamawa State are in that camp. Some of them had contested the governorship election before. A lot of them are senators, you know, or former senators. And what happened? After they paid 17,800,000, they returned home because they were told that it is the chairman of the organizing committee for the state that would deliver forms, those forms to them. But since they got back, they've not been able to lay their hands on a single form. Why? Because those forms are warehoused by the government. at 4 o'clock today, nominations
are
supposed to close.
Would have closed.
Or will have closed. Even if the chairman of the organizing committee stepped out of government house where he is believed to be taking refuge. In some local governments, if you are traveling from some local government to Yola, the state capital, you could do 8 hours. Adamawa is that big. 8 hours on the road. So when are they even, and the elections are tomorrow, so when are they even going to deliver forms to these people? That is even assuming that they want them to have access to these forms. They've been told that the forms that they were supposed to, for each person, the bank teller, this and other facts.
Fine details.
Yes, should be included. Yeah. But these guys had paid in bulk for all their candidates. So how do they do that?
Those details.
But the truth is, you see people like Babashir Lawal. These are, in that party in the state, they are the big people in the party. So if you deny all the big people access to decision-making in a party, the Unyakos of this world, his son, Abdulaziz, all of them,
he's serving senator.
All these big senators, I even wrote down the names of some of their big men who are on this camp, who have now effectively been sidelined. How do you want to win an election when you sidelined the big people in your party?
But the country, Ishmael and Ayo,
so why did you take money from them in the first place when you knew you were not going to give them forms?
It's about money,
You know what has happened? Let me just explain what has happened. The president has made up his mind that he wants Oshiomhole. Abi?
Yes.
A lot of these governors who were supporting Oyegun, including even the governor of Adamawa State, they felt a sense of loss. No, they've all beaten, because even the Oyo State governor had to confront El-Rufai now. That today you are on our side, tomorrow you are saying something else. Are you for the president or you are not for the president? I don't know how to pretend. Tell me. I'm going to be 70 years this year. Tell me where you belong. So they've succeeded in getting everyone to the side of the president. The president wants Oshiomhole. Now these governors don't want to lose on both fronts. So they've lost out at the national level.
So they must play ball.
It's now in their own state that they now want to ensure that, okay, you've denied us the chance to choose our own. In our state, we do what pleases us.
Ayo and Ishmael, the big man syndrome I talked about. It is said, give a Nigerian 2 plates. This one contains your interests, the other one your rights. He will break this one containing his rights. So it's about vested interest.
It's about vested interest. It's about vested, and you see, unfortunately, the president too has not really helped matters, because he's, I won't call it nonchalant attitude, but since the party said he's the leader of the party, I believe that he should assist in giving direction.
But he has told them that there must be election. Now you know why what they are doing.
Stop at there must be election.
For example,
in Kogi, for example. I don't see how the supporters of Dino Melaye will have access to funds.
Nobody will give them funds.
So what are we talking about?
You have provoked Tajuddin in Kaduna State, so he is here. Tajuddin, I greet you. Welcome. Tajuddin, are you there?
I'm there.
Yeah. We have provoked you enough. You want to join the debate? Let's go.
Hello? Hello?
Go on, sir. All right.
I think what they want to do, is, the president doesn't want this thing to be done by affirmation.
Yes.
He wants contest, so that every member of the party will have access. Be able to exercise his right. But what these guys are doing is, once they've shunted aside the other people, it is only the governor's people that will run. So at the end of the day, there will be no contest.
There will be no contest.
So it's still the same thing that they wanted at that time, that these selfish governors want now. I was talking about, look at Dr. Modibo, you remember him, who contested for governor. Abubakar Gire, Tukur Bello, Babashir Lawal, big people in the state. a governor who was...
that is Adamawa. Come to Kaduna.
No, that's what is happening everywhere.
Come to Kaduna is the same thing. The Nkui, Shehu Sani, Ashiru,
they chased them
all
out.
of them. And you say you want to win an election. You see, the APC's Congress that will lead to its conversion will be a litmus test to determine the fate of the party as they move to 2019.
Are you in politics? If there is a seeming chaos, you can be sure it was planned to go that way.
I would take this from a whole, a totally different tangent. Okay. However, but with one thing in mind, looking forward.
You are bearing it, yeah.
Looking forward to years after now. Many people are advised by pastors, and everybody is saying, go into politics, go into politics, go into politics. Is this the kind of politics that we are talking about now that these people are going to get into?
No
when
wonder,
are they going to?
No wonder you youths are not ready to take over.
No, it's an issue. It's an issue. These people run businesses. Sorry, sir. They run businesses. They run
You cannot correct it from outside. You must get in.
Agreed. But this way, how long is it going to take?
There's internal democracy. We must end. Come on.
Yes. If APC wants to win the 2019 election with its members intact, it must put an end to this impunity. If by tomorrow, if what we are already seeing is likely to happen, eventually happens tomorrow, the national leadership of the party must find a way to reverse them. Any state where there is no contest, any state where opposition within the party are shut out, the national leadership must find a way to reverse the trend and ensure that everybody is treated fairly. Otherwise, it will spare doom for
because
the party.
I hear, Jide, in politics, if you give me an injury, it takes a long time to heal.
Yes, and one thing about Nigerian politicians, they hardly forgive one another. So it's terrible. You heard Baba Shilawa saying that day that if we continue on this line of impunity, we will not win the election. He also said that there's provision for zoning in the party's constitution, that some positions should be zoned. Otherwise, it's possible that all the winners will come from one side. And that's what we are trying to say. Yeah. They could even be of the same religion if care is not taken. So that's why I said there has to be zoning. But no, in Adamawa, for example, Bindo knows that he's not popular as a governor. He knows that the structures that gave him victory is the Bababe Mangoro structure, and they are against him. So he wants to do everything to hijack the party, but winning the primaries of your party is different to winning in the national election.
Did Jonathan not hijack the PDP party machinery? Did he win the election?
Did the Plateau governor not impose his own cousin on everybody?
Did he win the election?
These people don't learn.
I'm a little bit concerned about one thing.
I'm concerned about what you are
concerned about. The time. Looking at the time.
It's the time, so we must go. But Ayo Makinde, many thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Keep shooting.
You have more time.
Keep shooting and scoring. Ishmael, it doesn't matter what you think. What will be, will be.
Yes,
and
that's
Jide,
true. Thank you.
This is it.
They're asking you to come.
Zebediah says, I've seen 99.
So what is
100?
100? No, if you've seen 99.
Oh, what? Why must you?
You've seen a lot.
Oh, 99 bridges to one bridge. So we must go. That's it on the program for this evening. But please get a repeat broadcast. You know, the repeat broadcast of this particular edition is assured at 11. Watch the journalists Hangout on other platforms we are displaying here. But let me say, politics, according to Mao Zedong, is war without bloodshed. I hope no bloodshed will be recorded. I'm out of here. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Enjoy your weekend.